Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and welcome to the science class with me, Chiguroni, and we shall continue our lesson week 41. But before that, we shall recite dua. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Rabbi shrah li sadri wa yassir li amri wahlul 'uqdatam min lisani yafqahu qawli. Rabbi zidni ilma warzuqni fahma. Wa sallallahu ala sayyidina Muhammad wa ala alihi wa sahbihi wasallam. Walhamdulillahi Rabbil Alameen. Okay, now, our lesson objective for this week is to revise, to recap, demonstrate, and explain how a shadow is formed, identify the correct shape, length, and direction of the shadow if we have experiment. But then we are online, so we do not really have experiment. So we shall continue with the first objective to demonstrate and explain how a shadow is formed. Now this lesson we have learned before, and this is only a revision. So the step to success is we talk about shadow. Last week we have talked about light, and this week we shall talk about shadows. But before that, we shall recap last week lesson that is about light and color. And as we have learned, the light from the sun is made up of different colors, and the colors, there are seven types of colors, and we can see it when it rains. So when it rains, a rainbow is made. Rainbow have seven different colors that are red, orange, yellow, green, blue, indigo, and violet. And rainbow always, the colors always arrange in this position: red at the top and violet at the bottom. Okay, now we did learn about how does a rainbow form. Rainbow form, no sorry, rainbow form when it passes through the rainwater, like in this picture, and when it reflects back from the rainwater, it is divided into seven colors, and that made rainbow in the sky during rain. Okay, today's topic is light and shadow. We shall talk about light and shadow. Before we talk about light and colors, now we talk about light and shadow. And what is a shadow? Under the sunny day, look at the dark areas under objects, any kind of objects outside your house, trees, plant, gates, house, cars, and you will see dark areas under the sunny day. When the sun is up, you can see that there are dark areas. And these dark areas, example in this picture, under the tree, by the side of this house, and on the pathway, this one, and on the curtain. See, but only during sunny days in the morning, not at night. In the morning, we're still talking about the sun in the morning. And there's also here under the trees dark areas, and those are what we call shadows. The dark areas are called shadows, bayang-bayang. When light is blocked, a shadow is made. This is the sun, and the sun, this is rays of light. The sun is shining, and the tree block the sun from reaching the ground. So a shadow is made in this picture. Another example would be this house. If this is the rays of the sun and this ray reaches the ground, no problem. But other rays, like the white arrow, hits the house and the light is blocked, so shadow are formed. If you can see, the next example would be the cup. The cup. In the morning, this is the sun. The rays that passes through that did not hit the cup passes through easily like this. It shines and fall onto the ground. But then those light rays that hits the cup cannot pass through the cup and a shadow is formed. Okay, now shadow are always is or are is always move. Now without the shadow always move. Cancel. Shadow always moves opposite to the sun. Opposite means berlawan. It always move when the sun. Example later. Let's check here. Example would be this one. If you can see this picture, the sun is moving this way, but the shadow is moving the other way. So yeah, opposite berlawan. It's the same like in this picture. The sun is moving up from the left, but the shadow moves from the right to the left. And here is where we say the shadow moves opposite from the sun. Okay? Excellent. Usually the shape of a shadow is similar to the object that is blocking the light. Usually, not always, but usually it is the same. Example in this picture, we can see there are 5 pictures and 5 shadow, and we can identify this shadow. We know this is aeroplane, and this looks like an egg, and this is a shadow of a person. And if you can see here, this is a shadow of a helicopter and a shadow of a cup. And usually, like I said before, usually the shadow looks more or less the same like the object. But what happened is sometimes it's different, like this one. Even though we look here, this is a shadow of a bird, but it is not actually a bird. It is made from hand. So this is a hand puppet shadow. Hand puppet. So what you can see here is you can change, you can make many things, many types of shadow, many shapes of shadow using your hands. You can make cat or maybe a witch, bear, bird, and so on. Sometimes you can also use the shadow to make something like this, a shadow puppet like this. Before you are using your hands, but now you're using paper cuttings from paper. You can make it into a mm, not cinema, what do you call that? Wayang is like a movie, shadow movie, more or less, I think so. Okay, now you can use this, but this is done at night using a source of light which is not the sun. I think this is using torchlight. You can use it and you can do it at home, which means that shadow can be made using a source of light, not only by the sun, also by other sources of light, example torchlight or other source of light. You can make shadow. Like this example, this person is playing wayang kulit. Wayang kulit is a kind of theater, not is old type of theater, and they portray shadows like this from object like here in this picture, and you can see here, this is an example. It's not the same, of course, but more or less. So remember, exercises, you have exercises which are provided through Google Form. Lesson notes are also provided. If you cannot watch this video, then I have provided lesson notes. Let's recap the lesson. That is, when light is blocked, a shadow is formed. Only one. When light is blocked, a shadow is from light, means any source of light, the sun, torchlight, fire. And if there's a source of light, then you can make a shadow, or there will be shadow. Okay, thank you for watching Year 2 Science Revision. Light and shadow. Like, share, or subscribe the video. Until next week, Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.